Welcome back to another episode of the Western Blend podcast. At this point, if you've listened to the previous episode, you probably know that Clay Leidy was back in town. We had him on as the first guest back in episode 1. So this week's podcast is a little bit of an update with Clay, how Texas is going. We also have our buddy Timmy sit in, so we get into some kind of stupid stories and wrap it up with some really good advice for everybody, especially younger kids trying to get into this world. So without further ado, we'll hop into the podcast.
Timmy is at weight rated.
Oh,
Yeah, trying to break it.
I'm not trying. It has a rotation built into the foot pedal, so I was getting it set to my calf tension.
My God.
That's what I thought when the thing flew up. I thought I was going to go through the floor, actually.
We might just cut this and put it at the end.
Yeah. You do know we're above an unstable garage right now.
You're talking about my house.
This is a bungalow, not a house. And I thought these were tinted so you couldn't see when I pulled in. You could definitely see me walking up to the indoor.
I just let you do it, dude.
You should see
funny.
it at night with the lights on in here. It's like you're like watching a big screen.
We could put a film out there. Never mind.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
You might have to hold your mic, Timmy, just so we can really hear you.
I got to really slob on that thing, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
God. This is not going to be good.
Oh, that's really great.
I got it.
All right. Focus up.
That was like a sound effect. So my friend has a problem.
It's been way too long since we've all three been together. This is gonna be good.
All right. Intro. I don't know what episode this is going to be. Welcome back to another episode of the Western Blend podcast. This week, we got Clay Leidy back on, bronc rider extraordinaire. I don't know if you can't call yourself a Texan, I guess, because you're not born, but Texas resident. Not a resident yet. Anyway.
I have a driver's license in Texas.
Oh, never mind. Texas resident, Clay Leidy. And we got another one of our best friends who's hitting the jug.
It's all right. I just needed some water to be able to speak.
We're going to have to restart. Nope, we're going to power through. Tim Shawley. Yeah. Jump into it, I guess. Do we want to... So, the goal of this one, Clay's back in town, so we're just going to catch up. Figured a podcast would be a good way to catch up. And Timmy is one of our best friends from college, and he was coming to hang out. We're like, well, we'll set up a third mic, get you on too.
If it wasn't for Timmy, we
wouldn't have met.
Yeah, we wouldn't have been friends.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Timmy, a lot of stuff wouldn't have happened.
Clay would still be wearing Hawaiian polos every day instead of riding broncs with Dale Brisby.
All right, about ready to get bullied. Here we go.
Yep.
Bring it on. No.
But yeah, no, seriously. How you guys first met down at the beach, I guess?
Yeah, whenever I just graduated high school, and we were going on our senior week beach trip. Well, I met him lifting.
No, it was the year after. You just came back from Alvernia, took some time off because it didn't work out.
That's right. College didn't work out, period.
First attempt or second attempt.
Or third attempt. That was even using my major. I even gave him all my old notes.
I should give him the whole, like, hey, this is a garage beer session. Technically it is because we're above a garage, so.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
That's the disclaimer for when it might be.
It's going to be fun. But, yeah, no, I met him at the gym, and we were buddies. Well, him and his friend group were going on a beach vacation. We're at Virginia, right?
Yeah, Virginia Beach.
And me and my friends went to Ocean City, Maryland, and they hated it there, and we were having a good time, and I was like, why don't you come on over? And they came up with this crazy story, got out of the hotel, didn't have to pay for it, drove all the way up to Maryland, or drove to Maryland, and then, we, ever since then, me and this kid, we were inseparable.
Yeah, what happened, so I met Clay a few times at the gym, and then I had like his number or Snapchat or something, and we were down there, and it was just not the fun time we remembered from our senior beach week. And I'm older than Clay by I think a year. So basically, he's like, yeah, you should just come up here. And my friend that day was racing motocross back when we rode dirt bikes. And what happened was he tore his ACL. We were not going to see him, had no correlation. But one of my other buddies went down to the front desk, basically like, hey, we have to go home. One of our buddies was in a motorcycle wreck. So it wasn't like a complete falsehood, but we weren't going to see him. We were, in fact, booking a hotel in Ocean City, Maryland. So we drove up from Virginia Beach, and then we basically met in Ocean City that night.
Yeah, and then proceeded to have a fun week, and then it just snowballed from there.
Yeah, huge domino effect there.
But yeah, that's where we are now, and that's how we met.
Yeah, I came up to hang out with Timmy in the summer.
And you did not like me.
No, I wasn't a big fan. I was like, who is this dick?
You just have to see through it. I mean, it only took like 2 months, and
Yeah.
it like, I don't know. He just, like, I feel like Clay saw some like Western type things going on. He's like, I want to do that. And then it was just like, within 2 months, pair of cowboy boots. And then within 3 months, there was a cowboy hat. And then in 4 months, Clay's going down to Rocky. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going down to hang out with Rooster. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it just kind of, I just feel like it was that snowball effect once he met you and everybody else, too.
Yeah, like a year later, he finally bought jeans that weren't tight.
Yeah.
That weren't skinny.
Yeah, well, my mom used to shop for me at Hollister, so he probably learned a trick or two from me, so I didn't have to buy my own jeans.
I'm
sorry.
It's okay. I accept getting bullied.
Yeah, now you're the Miss Cowboy one here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You can't argue it anymore, dude. You gather cows, you've gone to Brandings, you freaking spur broncs.
Something like that.
I just ride ponies.
But
Timmy rode bulls.
Timmy did get on a few bulls. Every time I'm not gonna lie. Every time Timmy got on a bull,
I was worried for the bull.
No, I was scared for my life. This kid has had so many head injuries that like every time he got on a bull, I was like, this is it. There goes my best friend. He's fucked.
I might be doing it
Sorry.
again soon. You never know. I'm heavy right now, but that's for lifting. So I'm cutting after this meet here. So I might venture back out into it. Still have all my stuff, so we'll see.
Never get rid of it.
Yep.
Yeah, probably won't.
But all right, we want to dive more into what's new with Clay.
Man, not much. No, I'm just kidding. No, since I've been home since we did the last podcast, rodeo season really picked up, and been working at the ranch, doing all that stuff, and then we've been hitting the road. We've been doing pretty good. We've been hitting like 2 or 3 a weekend for the most part. I think I've only had like
23 a weekend.
That's a lot of rodeos, Clay.
2 or 3. Okay.
Yes, 2 or 3 a weekend.
Okay.
But
That makes a lot more sense. I was like, that's hard.
Dude, if we could hit 23 a weekend, 23 bucking horses in a weekend.
So are you bucking like a perf Friday night, slack Saturday, and then perf Saturday night, or how are you running
No,
that?
so the way it runs down there, most rodeos are 2 or 3 night deals. So like, you'll get on, like, what we've been mostly doing is Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So like, we'll leave early, go to a rodeo on Friday, go home, wake up. So you remember the drive to Broad Albin?
Yeah.
So there was a point in time we were making that drive there, riding our horses, and driving back. We do that quite a bit, which it's a lot of fun. The truck has been really fun traveling with the guy, Carson and Donnie.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be bad if you don't do it like we did it.
Yeah,
morbidly hungover.
Yeah, the way we did it was not good at all. But now it's a job. We go and take care of business, and we have fun. But it's not like, I appreciate it a lot more now than I get. I mean, I had fun then, but I appreciate it a lot more now, because when you're getting on, you don't feel like you're dying. But anyways, that's been fun. We've been we did our, spring work with all our cows, and, we helped out some other guys take care of their stuff, and riding horses pretty occasionally now. I'm just getting more comfortable with, with the whole lifestyle, and I don't know, I'm loving it. It's been a blast.
Yeah. I'm jealous, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Very blessed.
Yeah. You got to brand calves over at, I'm gonna blank on his name. He has a YouTube channel, Ranch Living, I think. I saw you guys on a video. That's the only reason I'm saying it.
I don't know if I was there for that one.
You definitely were, I think. Anyway. Never mind.
We do it quite often. So.
Never mind. Moving on.
Yeah.
How was your first win at a rodeo in Texas?
Oh, dude, I was actually really surprised I won that rodeo. It was one of them days, dude, like, we leave work early, and it was kind of rainy. Like, it was kind of one of them days where it was just kind of gray.
Yeah. And
we left work, drove out there, and, like the rig's always fun, but it was, like, also one of them days where, like, we were just, like, bleh. Like, I showed up, I got my pearl snap on, and as soon as it was so humid, as soon as I put my pearl snap on, I was like, I just started pouring sweat. And I was like, all right. And then I was like getting my saddle ready, and it was like, I don't know, dude, it was so weird because it's like I wanted to be there so bad. I wanted to get on my bronc so bad, but there was just this thing in my mind where it was like, man, like, just might not be your night, like, which is weird. It's hard to fight that off. And like I did. Like, I was like, no, we're doing this, and we're going to have fun, and I'm going to go and do my job. And I drew a cool little horse of 57. Carson's been on it. Carson got on it earlier in the year. It's a gray horse, and he's, kind of electric, snappy, quick. I get along with them horses pretty good. And, they rolled him in, and so the way they did this rodeo, they bucked barebacks and ranch broncs, and then they had, like, a couple timed events, and then they had, like, they said it was 5 minutes long, that it was going to be like this little like blip of intermission they do, and which it was actually really cool. It was this guy that works at a cowboy church, and he was talking about God and everything, and while you're saddling your horse for that 5 minutes, it was supposed to be, it was awesome. But they told us once he gets like a minute and a half through it, pull your horse. So he got a minute and a half. Like, I'm listening to him, like he was speaking knowledge, and it was cool. Like, it was almost like, it was like one of the moments where like your heart just kind of like, you feel everything. Yeah. It was so cool.
Like he was talking to you.
Yeah, but like he was in the middle of the arena talking the complete opposite direction of me, and that's like, through that moment, it was like I remember just like looking up, and I just said like, thank you, God. Like, thank you for giving me these opportunities, being able to do this. Like, I don't take any of it for granted. And so I pulled my horse, meanwhile, and my horse is standing there. And I had my rein measured, I had it in my hand, and I was sitting there. Dude, this thing went on for 15 minutes. And, like, Donnie was right next to me, getting his horse ready, and, like, he, like, kind of, like, looked over at me, and I looked back at him, and I was like, do you think we ought to let off?
Back him off, yeah.
And he was like, I don't know. He goes, like, I don't know how long this is going to go. I said, it's already been going on for, like, 10 minutes. It's like, it ought to be over soon. 2 minutes later, I'm standing there, and I'm like, screw this. And, like, so my horse was pulled for a few minutes at this point. So I let it off, and Donnie let off his saddle. Well, I didn't pull my horse again until they were, so, like, the way they bucked that rodeo, they had like 3 chutes on each side. They bucked down the line. I didn't start pulling my horse again until they got to the third, because I was the last guy out on the other side. So I pulled him down, and I got him pretty, like, I like my saddle pretty sucked down, but I think I got it just tight enough. And they were to me. So I was like, man, we're rocking with it. Like, we're going. And so I got my rein, got down on this horse. Well, like, he kind of like tucked his chin and like kind of started thrashing around. Well, I lost my rein, so I had to climbed out, got my rein again. The stock contractor was heading the horse out for me, and like I remember leaning back, and like he goes like, go in, and I nodded my head, and I marked this horse out, dude, and like I held him. He broke. Well, when he broke, I pulled my feet as he was breaking, so it like kind of like sat me up. And I just remember when I sat down, my feet went, and like I got a hold of him, and I was like, oh, let's go. And my feet just went whack, like I was going to him. And we made it to the fence. He kind of had an empty jump, and I, jumped off on the pickup, man. And I kind of stood up. I was like, whew, that was cool. Like, that was really fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wasn't really thinking anything of it at the time. Well, then, like, the announcer went over and he's like, this cowboy takes the lead, 77 points. And I was like, oh, like, heck yeah, man. And there was, like, a lot of money added at this rodeo. I was like, we got in the truck that night. I drove home, and I was like, man, like, that's going to at least pull a check. So then the night after, we went to another rodeo, and I got on a horse, 807 Moonfire, which is, they bucked her at a lot of pro shows. She's bucked off some legit dudes, just, really droppy. Like, gets in the air, and, like, when she drops, it feels like your swells are getting ripped from you. I got on her, I marked her out, and I think for me, where I'm at with my bronc riding right now is, like, the less I know about a horse, the better off I'm going to be. Well, I went looking at her stuff and seeing who she's bucked off. I was kind of out of the game before, so, like, that's something I learned from that is, like, don't do that. Like, because, you can have a day. And I did, too, get on her, and she did, too, drop out of the air and ripped my swells from me. And I went straight over front of her, which was terrifying. So I was frustrated. Donnie won that rodeo on a sweet horse, and Donnie did give it to this thing. So I was pumped. Like, I get just as pumped up for, like, Donnie and Carson when they win.
Yeah, dude. As long as someone in the truck's winning.
That's why we had an awesome weekend. Carson pulled a check at the rodeo I won. Donnie won the rodeo that, I bucked off at. So, like, we had an awesome weekend.
Yeah.
But moral of the story is, I got off, and I was walking back, and Donnie was standing there, and he looked at me, he goes, congratulations. And I go, for what? He goes, you won Winsboro. And I went, no, like, really? He's like, yep. He said, you won it. Everybody, I think everybody bucked off that night, that Saturday night. And I was like, heck yeah, man, that's awesome. Oh, Donnie won. So we were pumped up. And then, so that was really cool. It was just really, I've won some money at a couple other rodeos, but, we're riding, like, bronc riding down there right now is really wolfy. Like,
yeah.
It's very rare to go to, like, up here you show up at a rodeo, 9 chances out of 10, there's only going to be, like, 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah. It's like if you cover, you got a solid chance.
But, like, down there, it's like, you gotta ride your bronc.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't just hang on. You gotta ride your bronc. You gotta spur. You gotta lift on your rein. You gotta make it pretty.
Yeah.
And, because, like, 9 out of 10 rodeos you're going to go to right now down there, there's, they're 2-3 night deals. So through those 3 nights, you're going to have 14, 15 guys entered. Maybe sometimes upwards to probably around 14, 15. Yeah. But next weekend we went to 2 rodeos. Well, I guess last weekend. And Friday night I got on a horse. They didn't really know much about it. The stock contractor just bought her. So they told me to give them 2. That horse needed double, and maybe double in a braid.
Yeah, I know you sent that video, and that thing sucked its head to its stomach.
Well, it's not like, I don't think it would be a bad horse. I think,
You were just pulled out in front, couldn't it?
Yeah, but I also haven't been really in the position yet to where I was, like, my hand went down in front of my swells, and, like, I was down there. Well, like, I was down there, and the horse really wasn't bucking that awfully hard. He was kind of just hopping through there. And I was like, man, you just got to send your feet. So I did, like, about 3 seconds in, my feet started going. It wasn't the prettiest ride. And then I was, like, 60.5 points. And whatever, like, is what it is. Saturday night, we went to a rodeo, and I got on this horse, 46 Rumble Seed. It's a little gray horse. She's been around for a long time. Like, some of the guys have gotten on her, like, a while ago. Like, like Liberal used to ride broncs. He's been on them. But anyways, that horse back in the day used to have a really wicked rare out, like, straight up. And, like, when her feet hit, I mean, she was cracking them. Well, Carson got on her a couple weeks before that. He rode her pretty darn good. And I was like, sweet, I got a pretty decent one. Well, like, there were some legit guys there that just drew better than me. So, You gotta do your job with no matter what you get. Well, I got on her, marked her out, she reared out, hit. I pulled them for 1, and then I sent them, and I was like 68 points, which part of that was probably on me because the last 2 seconds I hung my foot in my cannel, but she thank God she didn't have enough power because I would have went ejecto. But rode her, scored, got my score. So I don't know, rodeos I've been looking at recently, it's been more or less like just do your job, let the cards fall where they may, and regardless of the turnout, be blessed that you're doing it, and then like also look at the fact that like you're getting practice in every time you go.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what you're getting on.
Yeah, you'll get yours at some point. Luck of the draw kind of deal.
Well, and I have I've been very blessed to go. I mean, I've won money at a few rodeos this year.
Yeah.
And we haven't gone to a crap ton yet, but we've gone to a good few. Actually, I just told the guys this in the truck on the way home from last weekend. I was like, the amount of rodeos we've hit between April and June is the amount of rodeos I hit when I was at home.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm already, like, down there, I've already rodeoed the amount that I did at home through a whole summer.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome. And, like,
yeah, because you're probably hitting, like, maybe a rodeo a weekend here. Like, maybe 2. You could probably put a little run together, maybe hit 3.
Yeah.
But that's, like, the rare occasion where you could string a run together.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's been awesome, though. It's been a really good experience so far. I've been having a blast. Been riding pretty good. I'm working on a lot of things. I've been watching, Jacobs Crawley. He's a world champ bronc rider.
Yep.
Awesome dude. Like, he comes out to the ranch every once in a while. Great guy. Like, and he's willing to help with everything. And, I look at my riding style and his, and like, I'm not saying but like I'm trying to like mimic his riding style because he has fast feet. He's kind of built like me. He lifts really good, and my biggest issue was lifting.
Yeah.
So now that I've honed in on I watch his stuff, I'll go back, watch my videos, see where I was wrong.
Yeah.
Fix the mistakes and move forward. But it's been going really good. Like, I've been having a blast, and I'm excited. Like, June's about ready to kick off. Well, it is June.
Yep.
But we're gonna rodeo pretty good through June, and then July 4th weekend, we're probably gonna hit like 8 rodeos that week, which is gonna be sweet.
Yeah. No, it's been cool to see, like, whenever you shoot videos over to us and watch them and kind of see the progression. Even, I mean, especially for us, seeing like what you were like when you were here versus like what you're getting on down there and what you're looking like. And that horse you won the rodeo on, like, I remember watching that video and being like, that's what's up. Like, you held your mark out, like, looked good, and when you sent your feet, like, you meant business behind it. It wasn't just, and it was a quick, snappy horse. Like, you weren't able to just like really hang in there. It was, you had to send him jump for jump.
What was so
you got
cool
after that one?
What was so cool about that horse is it was quick and snappy. And then first like 5 seconds I was going through in there, and I was like, wow. I was like, oh, and like I was like, I'm at the point now to where my feet are starting to turn out pretty good, but like I'm not always making contact. But I remember we were getting closer to that gate, and that horse was kind of stacking up a little bit, and my feet went up there one time, and it felt like slow motion. Like, and it was fast, but like, as soon as my feet reached up there, like I remember riding that horse, and I looked like my eyes just saw my left foot, and my toe was turned out and in that sucker's neck, and I was like, oh, this is what it feels like.
That's
to ride
what I'm
broncs.
supposed to do.
Like, this is what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I've also like taken that night and that ride, and just tried to keep mimicking it, just keep doing it over and over again, which has been. It's been working out. Gone a couple practice horses, since, and practice pen has helped me a lot. Just being able to get on a couple a week.
Oh, for sure.
Or even every other week. It's easy right now because we're getting on broncs every weekend.
Yeah.
So, that helps out a lot. But like, dude, when I won that rodeo, I was pretty pumped up. It feels good. I'm currently 15 in the UPRA standings, which is the last whole. They take 16 because they take the top 15 and then they take the top rookie. I didn't apply for my rookie card, which I thought I should have, but whatever. Like I've held other membership cards, so I really didn't think anything of it. But I'm in the 15th hole right now to go to the UPRA finals in October. So, and like that's pretty cool because I mean I have to work my butt off to stay in there, but you know there's some good guys in there. Like, so, you know, just to be able to be in that, you know, there's like dang near 30 guys in the standings in the bronc riding right now there, and it's like, you know, up here it's like you don't get 15 guys until like end of July.
No, it's like if you pull a check, you got a good chance
That's
to go to finals.
what I know. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's really, 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 really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the bronc riding's been going good, and you know, just goes to show that, you know, hard work and, you know, just actually paying attention and listening, and it goes a long way, because I've only been riding broncs for 2.5 years, and I'm not saying I'm anything crazy, but you know, I feel like if you want it bad enough, you can do it. And I've been, you know, I get on the spur board every day. Whether it's, you know, a spur board without a saddle, I have one right outside my house in Texas that, like, if I'm not going to the gym that night, I go and I just get on my spur board for like 20 minutes. And, you know, I don't put my saddle on that one. Then we have one in the warehouse that, you know, you put a saddle on, which I feel both help you. You know, there's a kind of, people are kind of preference. I use both, because the one without the saddle, you learn to stay balanced and keep your core tight. And then when you're in your saddle, that's what it feels like. You know, your saddle is your home base. So I do both to help, but that's helped a lot. But you got to do it perfect every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been going really good. You know, I've rodeoed a good bit and had some good rides. You know, one of my favorite ones so far, other than my win, it was the same rodeo company, same horse, and it was an X horse of the year in the UPRA. It was a big black horse. It's branded 8608, and it came from Champion Rodeo Co. And this horse, you know, pretty big black horse, and she like bails out of there, like kind of leaves fast, hard. I stuck her, and you know, she cracked him right out of there. And I went to her, and like, it wasn't the prettiest ride, it wasn't the most technically right ride, but like I rode that horse, you know, jumped off, and then I realized right then, I was like, I can do this. Yeah. Like I got this, like, you know, because there was a point in time where like I was getting on horses at rodeos, and I was riding all right. Like I wasn't making 80-point bronc rides, but I was riding all right, and I was getting kind of frustrated in the sense of like, man, like I'm going down the road hard, like, I mean, and maybe not like hard, but like I mean I'm going down the road and I'm not winning money, but like kind of what you said earlier, it's you just, you know, got to be patient. It's gonna come whenever it's time for it to be there, and I have been.
Yeah. How's the ranching side of stuff been?
Really fun. You know, Dale's place has been, you know, coming along really good. We have enough guys now where we can spread it out, and like a lot of what we've been doing at like recently at, you know, Dale's, when we're not doing warehouse work, is, you know, a lot of, you know, ranch management stuff. You know, just trying to make it look as nice as we can, keep it professional, and you know, you got that brand new big arena, and you know, we kind of, you know, try to keep that real nice and all that stuff. But like the ranch side of it, we did like our spring work, you know, Brandon, you know, his, you know, what he had, and which, you know, you guys can see in YouTube videos, but you know, did all that. You know, that's always fun. You know, it's a blast. You know, you wake up early, you know, well, not really early, like we're not up at 5 o'clock in the morning going out. Yeah. You know, but you know, we get up, you know, a little earlier than normal, go catch horses, saddle, talk about the game plan, what we're gonna do that day, load up, go out, and like, you know, my favorite thing is like when we have that last meeting in the pasture, and then we trot off, and Kevin's the one that drops everybody off at where, you know, they're gonna start doing the cattle drive, and yeah, that's like my favorite part, because like, you know, you're with your buddies, you know, you're trotting out, and like everybody's in a good mood, everybody's happy to be there, and you know, and then you go and you do your business. And I don't know, Brandon's been fun. There's a right way to do it, you know, like, you know, you never, you know, in the way you place a brand and how you do it. Like, it's been really cool being able to brand and help doctor and take care of the animals and whatnot, for sure. Yeah.
Got the rope any?
Not yet.
I figured you hadn't, but I wanted to ask.
Well, I rope the dummy
Yeah.
quite often, but
You're a flanking specialist.
yeah, really. But no, roping's not easy for sure. But I've been roping the dummy, and like, we have guys at the ranch that, there's people that work there that don't rodeo. So when we do ranch, or like,
That's
they
kind of their
get
spot.
so yeah,
too.
like they get like, before I were to be like, hey, you're gonna go help this guy on his ranch today, like, they'll be like, Clay is rodeoing every weekend.
Yeah.
He's also getting on broncs every week at the house.
Yeah.
So
like Cole gets to go.
yeah,
or-
like the guys.
I
That
don't know. I just
don't.
say Cole because he's pretty
Cole,
handy from what I can tell.
Yeah, for sure. But like Cole goes, like Cam goes, Kevin goes. The guys that aren't rodeoing get first pick at that, which is awesome. Like I love the way Dale works around that, because it's like, yeah, now like everybody's just not working. They're still learning and still doing things that they enjoy doing, just in a different way than us that are rodeoing.
Yeah.
But the ranch it's fun. Like I love it. Like it's cool. It's really cool when, like, we just Monday before I flew home, we went and gathered our one pasture. We had some cows that we were gonna say sayonara to, and
It's a good time to cull some cows right now. If anyone tracks the cattle market at all, right now is a good time
It's
to
up.
get rid of your bad ones.
yeah, it's up. But it's really fun, and it's really cool to, like, especially like we have people come in sometimes that like have never done it before. It's really cool to like give them that first experience, because like I was that guy.
Yeah.
Like when I moved down there last September, like we did it pretty much right away, and like for me it was really cool. Like it's really cool to be like, I kind of know what's going on now. I still might get lost, but it's really cool to like take new guys down there, and like it's also really cool to watch like the new guys coming in behind me,
Yeah.
and like their first experiences with it, and like it's a lot of fun.
I feel like any situation like that where like you've literally been in that person's shoes, it's cool to see that next guy come in and be like, I can 100% relate to what you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's like, it's no different than like watching a guy get on his first bronc or first bull.
Yeah.
Like we've had some cool people come out and get on their first bulls, and it's like, I'm always there popping latch, and I'm always like yelling at them like, all right, you got like, be mean now, let's go, like, have fun. Yeah, like that's it. It always pumps me up. And then like after they, we got this little bull we call Trunk. He's the first bull. Like that's the first bull you're gonna get on. If you're gonna get on a bull, bucket list or not, that's the first one you're gonna get on. And dude, he's just like a little hopper through there. He is so cool. Like, and we can buck him. We can just keep bucking him, and he just loves his life. And we've had some guys come out and get on him, and like those days are really fun. Like, because most of the time we won't practice when they're there. Like people come to get on, and which comes out in YouTube videos. So keep your eyes open. I ain't gonna give away who was just there to get on. So follow Dale Brisby on YouTube, and keep your eyes open, because it's gonna be one of these videos coming out in the near future is gonna be really, really cool. But that's a blast for me. Just getting to watch people do it for the first time.
yeah.
It's like watching you get on broncs, watching you get on bulls for the first time. Like it's cool. I was scared for you though. Just kidding.
Should have been scared for me.
Yeah.
I was the one that got killed off by the friggin' Markout horse.
Yeah.
I still have a hoof print on my quad.
Rodeo's fun, everyone.
It is.
Rodeo is a blast, but
yeah. So I know you don't want to give away anything, but who's been some of the coolest people you've got to meet down there? Because I know Dale's got all kinds of people in and out, and there's some absolute studs of people that I know have been in there, like the Wrights or.
Yeah, the Wrights were really cool, man. Getting to be around. I mean, they're all.
That's a family of freaking cowboys.
Bronc riders, dude.
Yeah.
Like, It is so cool to be around them guys and like get to talk to them and pick their brains a little bit about bronc riding, and then like they obviously have stories for hours, and it's cool. Like Kai Hamilton was out there that day, and they're just normal dudes.
That dude's an
man.
animal.
Yeah, dude, they're just normal dudes. Like and like what's so cool, it's like guys at that level, they're so willing to help. Like they're so willing to like give you legit advice that like means it.
Yeah, I feel like that's got to be super cool to be in that situation where like, I mean, in your head you're like, dude, this is like a celebrity, like they're famous.
Yeah,
and you're
that's
like,
how we look.
You're
at
like
it.
expecting like, I don't know, like you're like not expecting him just to be like a dude.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure you get to meet them and you're like, wait, like we could actually just be like friends, like.
Oh yeah.
Like you're just
for sure.
You're just like anybody else.
Yeah, and like I talked to Spencer Wright for like 2 hours after the fact. Like I just sat down and talked to Spencer for a long time, and like, dude, it's so cool to be able to like be around them kind of guys. Like surround yourself with champions. Like those are they're champions, and it's awesome. And then like I don't know, man. Like we went out to JB's and did a bullfight video, which if you haven't seen that yet, go watch it.
It's pretty funny.
It was so fun. And then yeah, like that was a blast. Like being around, dude, JB is such a cool dude too. Like I remember like I had my CDL and whatnot, and like I worked driving CDL level trucks, and he was showing me pictures and stuff of his trucks, and like talking to me about stuff, and it was like that's not even rodeo we were talking about. Like he was just like, yeah, look at this, like check this thing out, and like showing me videos of him cruising down the road and like jamming out to like some rock music. It's like, dude, like these are just normal people that just love to have fun, and like just somehow, like not somehow, just have this crazy ability to do some of the most wicked things that anybody could think. But that dude, that day we were out at JB's I'm not gonna lie, I was more scared to do that than getting on a bronc, anything. Like, I was terrified. When we did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Did you watch the video?
No.
I was gonna say there's no way Timmy did.
We got out there. The first thing we did was bull poker, and like we got these fighting. They're just little fighting cows. They're not very big.
Bunch of heifers.
Yeah, a bunch of fighting. Like we got them off of Cody Webster.
Webb.
Yeah, we have a couple in there. Like they all mean it, but we have a couple in there that like, if you're in their way, they're gonna get you. But they kind of just are gonna run around. Then we have a couple in there that mean it, and like really mean it. So we did bull poker, and we sat the table up a couple feet away from the buck and shoot, and we all sat down. We were vested up, sitting down, and we sat there for like 15 minutes before they would pop the latch, and like
That's gotta be brutal.
Dude,
like just do it.
It was horrible. Like I kept looking around the table, and like freaking like everybody was nervous, but like looking like Kevin looked like he was gonna puke. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna like I was freaking out. And then like it was funny, and I remember we were like sitting there, Dale, we started filming the video, and Dale walked over to the table, and we were like joking around, getting ready to pop the latch, and Kevin looked at Dale and was like, should we pray for this? And like Dale was like, oh yeah, absolutely, we're praying. And we prayed, which it's a natural habit. But like they popped the latch on that first one, and she like would like run to the table, and then like she'd like go off. But like, dude, like she would get like as far away from me and Timmy away, and she'd like come to you, and then she would run off. And I was like, oh, all right. Well, then they ran in this other one, and they popped the latch on this thing straight to the table, and then jumped, leaped, and like I was on the end of the table, so she like came this way and took the table out. So now I'm in the open. Like I'm just sitting there, and like I'm like holding on my chair, and it was me and Jackson, one of our new. He's actually starting to fight bulls now because of that day, and it was me and Jackson, and she was at the other end of the arena, and she was like right in between me and Jackson. Well, I was sitting here, and Jackson was a couple feet ahead of me, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, if she comes, you're just gonna take it. Like you just let it happen. and I'm sitting there and I kind of like squeeze my chair. She takes off running. She does go right to Jackson, and as soon as she hit Jackson, I stood up and took off running. And then like we had like 3 games planned. We did like the Ring of Fire, where like whoever can stand in the circle the longest wins. So I won the bull poker, I won Ring of Fire, and then we did a little bit of freestyling, which was really cool. I remember it's on my Instagram. I don't know if you saw it. This one, like I was like, I stepped in front of her and she was coming at me, and I went to fake her, and she hit me right at the hips, and I kind of floated on her head, and I jumped, and then I made a round. Well, then I thought I saw like on my peripheral, I saw Jackson run by me, so I thought she picked him up, and so I just stopped.
Yeah, I remember.
And
I'm
I
like,
was
Clay, what are
laughing.
you doing? Because you're like, oh, you bend down to like get your hat, and this thing's just coming.
Yeah,
and you have no
she
idea.
Like turned away, and I like looked, and I turned back, and I started laughing. Like I was like laughing at the camera Donnie was holding. I was laughing, and then she did hit me right in the hip again, and I haven't heard Dale laugh like that ever. Dale laughed so hard at me for that, but it was a fun day. Well, JB kept coming up with games. He just didn't make sense. There was games we did that day that were like, you're just coming up with things now, but like JB lives with that stuff, dude. Like watching people get hooked. Like, no, it was really cool being out there, and that video, you know, was really fun and really cool. But yeah, Bucktown.
Yeah, most I can relate to is when we got suckered into playing quote unquote bull hockey with a little fighting heifer, and it just got stupid. Rooster ended up just basically steer wrestling it, and then the guy that ended got really mad.
Were you there the day at Rocky that rope and steer hooked the crap out of me?
I don't think so, but I know the exact steer you're talking about because it hooked like 4 of us.
Yeah,
they didn't tell us about it. It was in the pen with all the rope and steers, and we're sorting them off for the team roping, and out of nowhere, like, some dude just gets like dropped, and we're like, what just happened? And then here this little red steer comes like hunting everybody. That thing was evil.
Yeah,
I will never forget that thing.
I will.
It literally hooked everyone back there trying to sort.
So it was slack at Rocky when it got me, and I was working the strip and shoots, and like they ran a couple before that. Also, I didn't think anything of it, but like I took the rope off, walked over to the gate, opened the gate, and I was standing behind the gate. That son of a gun went out, turned, 180'd, and got me down.
The thing is mean, bro.
And I looked at Mike. I was like, "What? Why? Why are we doing this? What? And like, I don't think it's that good of a steer. Like,
no, it's not.
Like, I don't think it is. Like, I was like, why are we doing this? Like, this thing wants to kill people.
Yeah, that one's mean.
But yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty much that. Like, that wraps up the last couple months for me, I guess. Like,
yeah,
rodeo,
ranching, meeting cool dudes.
Yeah, when I get back, it's gonna be back to business. And then, if anybody is going to Des Moines, Iowa, the weekend of June 22nd, me and Jackson will be up there working the Dale Brisby booth at the National Junior High School Finals Rodeo.
Nice.
Yeah, good times, man.
Yeah,
good times.
Well, cool. Timmy, been awfully quiet.
Yeah, I guess I'm just soaking up, what's happened, just listening.
Yeah, I guess, like, it's hard. I don't know. It's hard. I feel like it's keeping up and trying to, like, tell stories like this whenever I'm that far away. You can only say so much over the phone.
Yeah.
But, like, here, at least I can remember everything in a different way.
Yeah.
And you've been busy. I haven't been able to talk to you much.
Yep, there's just a lot going on. But there's definitely been more than one mean steer at Rocky. Basically just been thinking about all this stuff. It just repeats itself.
They have a mean cow there. I don't know if it's still around, but she would always come down with the bulls when we started sorting bulls off. And, like, this thing will kill you. Like, there's no ifs or buts. If she gets you, you're dead. Like, there's no one that's going to save you either. Because if somebody tries to save you, she's going to just get both of you.
You're on your own. Sorry.
Yeah. A lot of very nice ones, and then just once in a while,
Yeah. we'll see how it goes when we
this weekend.
break everything in this weekend.
Yeah, it
Except
sucks.
I should be horseback, not a footback. So
You're gonna be a football.
big plus. Nope.
Oh, you're
nope.
gonna be horseback.
Yep.
Heck yeah, stepping up in the world.
Yep. I'm riding Playboy. No, the other one, Rocket.
Yeah.
Good
Rooster's new pickup
Are you
horse
picking up?
prospect. We'll see if I actually get in the arena for that, but I'm gonna ride.
Are they having both?
his pickup horses
So
while we
Rooster's
break
picking
stuff
up,
in.
and then they're probably gonna have.
What is his name? He's always.
I know.
I'm blanking on
I
his
can't
name
remember
right
his
now.
name either. Either way, it'd be kind of cool to be in there and push.
Yeah, we've talked about that. That'd probably be.
Do you guys have any bronc riders though?
2, maybe.
2.
Or 1. Not really. So because of that, probably not, and they'll probably need someone
Yeah.
running the time event end, so I'll probably just be down there again.
Yeah.
But
This
there's
is
talk
Judge
of
Isaac
it.
you're speaking to.
Yeah.
That picture's hysterical.
It's so funny.
I can't believe I judged that.
That's so funny.
In my head, I'm like, it'll be fine. There'll be like 2 qualified rides. Like, I can judge the first one as whatever, and then the next one, it's just if it was better or worse. Nope, there's like 7 qualified rides. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Dude, that's awesome to hear though.
Oh, yeah, for
That
sure.
is so awesome to hear, man.
They've done a great job with their novice bull riding and getting guys into it.
Oh yeah, and it's like it's getting them guys, like them young guys too. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, the world needs more rodeo athletes.
more cowboys.
Yeah, especially in the bronc riding. There's a lot of guys. Bareback riding needs it, and then like bull riding needs bull riders, not bull getter honors.
Can't wrong there.
Like we need like guys that are gonna be like show up to a practice pen and you're gonna get on 8, maybe not 8 bulls. I can't really say anything because I only really get on 2 horses every practice. But like if you're gonna show up to a practice pen, challenge yourself. Don't get on just the ones that you can ride. And like
Yeah.
I struggled with that at Dale's for a minute. Like I've gotten on everything at Dale's now, which just changed last week. We have a paint Survey horse that came from Survey, and she's kind of bad in the chute, and I don't know why. She bucks awesome. Like, she's a sweet horse, but, like, I don't know why, but for some reason that horse was just in my head, and I finally, like, it was Donnie's turn to pick what he wanted. Like, I was at the bottom of the totem pole that day, and he goes, whatever you don't pick is what I'll get on. And I just, like, it just came out of my mouth. I was like, all right, I'm getting on sister-in-law, which that's what her name is, sister-in-law. I was like, all right, I'm getting on sister-in-law. And like I remember Dale coming up and like giving me like a little pep talk before getting on her. And I left, and I think I just kind of surprised myself. But then I started going to her and spurring her pretty good, and it was like, oh, it's like, man, you just got to get in there and just love the fight and be a cowboy. And like that's my advice. We're gonna have some fun this second half of this podcast and tell some fun stories, probably.
Okay.
But anyways, like my advice to kids that are getting into radio and then rodeoing is like, get on the right stuff starting out, but like also don't be afraid to challenge yourself, because like you're going to show up to a rodeo and a horse is going to be bad in the chute. This horse might go out there and buck awesome, be a horse you can win on, but if you can't get past the chute part, you're not going to ride good. So practice on the ones that are going to be not good. Practice on the ones that are going to be crappy in the chute. Practice on the bulls that are going to fight you in the chute.
Yeah.
Practice on the horses that are going to lay down in the chute.
I mean, you don't really have a say once you get to the rodeo, so...
Right, exactly. That's the point of it. That's the point of what I'm saying, and it's something I just learned. And I've only been riding broncs for 2.5 years, but I mean, at the same time, I've gone down the road enough that's like, it's, you just got to take care of business and have fun doing it. But yeah, we're caught up on life for the most part.
Yeah.
But let's we talk about rodeo a lot, but since we have all 3 of us here, we went through college together.
Well, you tried.
I did try.
Kind of. Not
You
really.
kind of tried.
You lied to us so much.
No, I didn't.
You get all your schoolwork done? Yeah. Meanwhile,
Oh.
what did you do that day? You went to the gym.
At least I was
That's
doing
all you
something
did.
productive for my body.
Yeah,
all
I
you
mean,
did.
it pays off now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, we went through college together, but, like, we've also had some funny stories. Like, we'll start, like, on the hunting part. You remember, so when I started hunting ducks with you,
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to take him. You remember we were hunting that flooded patch,
Yep.
and he wore trash bags as waders.
Dude, I
Well,
told you to bring waiters.
Let's
too.
back up. I still worked at the pizza shop then, so I worked till 9, and then I came over. I think there was a few people hanging out, but you two were sitting down in the living room, and I walked in, realized instantly I forgot my waders, had muck boots, and so I was like, all right, well, we can make the trash bags work. This will be a great idea. And then I pull out the shells that are so old that Dad had sitting around, and you picked up one of the shells, and you're like, Timmy, this is double out buck. I'm like, well, guess we're gonna.
I was like, please leave that one here.
Yeah.
Isn't that all you had?
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
did-
I think you guys ended up just shooting my shells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we duct taped trash bags up around your quads, and you just wore your muck boots. And granted, this is late season duck, so it's what, January,
Yeah.
and we're standing in, like, you know, knee high
deep.
water.
I just accepted the fact my feet were gonna be covered in water for the entire duration of the hunt.
Yeah. Hey, we killed ducks.
We did kill ducks.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the year before we were doing deer drives with you.
Yeah. Deer hunt's definitely way more my thing.
And
right
it
now.
was right after it was
It's
right,
always been your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was right after Thanksgiving, and it was the first time, like, cause you went home.
It was the first Monday of deer season.
Yeah. No, it was something like that.
Yeah,
Right
because
for-
we
right
could hunt.
gun season.
Yeah, gun seasons. Because we could hunt. That's when we could start to hunt the first weekend.
Yeah.
So
Sunday.
I had been home hunting and came back up, and we were driving Monday.
I remember we got back, and like they're still when we were living in the house all together.
Yep.
And
It was like a reunion, I guess, Sunday night.
yeah, and we decided it was a good idea. We were going hunting the next day, but we decided in our young minds it was a great idea to party.
Rylan was up. There was just some stuff going on. I think we were.
Yeah, it was Ryland's
there was-
birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, something. No, not his birthday,
it
but there was something going on.
Formal or something?
No.
I feel like
No.
we went after formal one time. You woke me up.
We
I was on the
did.
floor.
We've done stuff like that too. Yeah.
Like, come on, buddy, we gotta go deer hunting.
Well,
I'm
it
like,
was so
I need water.
Yeah, I think there was 4 of us, and we had around. I think there's a picture somewhere that said we drank like 80 beers that Sunday night. So that's
What?
roughly 20 a person.
Oh,
Yeah. So
you could tell the story.
it just like we just had fun, had a good time doing it. People were hanging out, and then we were like, we're going to bed, we're going hunting. So I mean, we went to bed, knew there was going to be some repercussions in the morning. Woke up, everyone was up, ready to go. You had your own room. Me and Clay lived together. And then I think Rylan slept on our couch or something. Rylan's like, yeah, I'm ready, dude. Like, let's go. And Clay was just unresponsive. I didn't even know if he was alive. I checked to make sure he was breathing. Like, that was a normal occurrence for these few years. He was breathing. I'm like, I'm just going to leave him be. Like, I don't know, maybe 7:30 rolls around, if that. Clay calls me. He's like, where are you at? I'm like, well, we're out getting ready to put a deer drive on here. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, all right. Well, like 30 minutes. I think we did a little deer drive. Like 30 minutes goes by. Here comes Clay barreling down the dirt road to pull in to meet the rest of us. We
I
were
was
back
driving
out
a
of
Jeep
the.
at that time.
It was
Yeah.
right after we pushed that new piece of land that the college got, and it was not great.
Yeah, it
we
was
pushed
just
all them
wide
deer to
open.
those other guys that came in from the backside.
Not
Anyway.
our best deer drives. No, it was not.
No.
I won't go back there. At least till some undergrowth happens. But anyhow, so Clay rolls in, and there's no mirror on the passenger side of the Jeep.
No, it's swinging.
I remember it swinging. Clay said it fell off. Regardless, there is no mirror. Like, it's not functioning anymore. I'm like, Clay, what happened? So Clay goes, I am so hungover. I'm like, I got that. What happened to the mirror? He's like, well, the roads are kind of icy. So I'm like, yeah, Clay, I understand. He's like, well, I kind of veered off the road, hit a tree with the mirror, kind of spun the Jeep around, and just
Kept it
kept
rolling.
on my way. It just kind of spun right back onto the road. I'm like, so you ripped the mirror off while you were driving here? He's like, yeah.
I had places to be. We had stuff to do, and I did. It wasn't like I veered off the road. I was going around these, like, driving out there. There was the windy roads back behind my house, and I was going around them, and it was a little icy. It was snowy out, and I kind of just went over the white line a little bit, and my mirror was gone.
I've never seen old men laugh so hard.
Oh, it was funny.
Dude, that's just the story of my life at this point. Like, dude,
I can't give
even
you
now, just stupid stuff happens to me. I was mowing grass Sunday, and I was borrowing a mower from my neighbor, and I was like, well, after I'm done mowing, I'm going to go, where I live in Texas, there's a gas station and cut like a little
He's
bit.
like us doing landscaping jobs with the Kubota.
Yeah.
Just a little bit down the road. I was like,
Put the four ways on.
Yep.
mowed my yard. I was like, I'm going to go fill this up for him, and I'm going to bring it back, hose it off, make it nice. Like, take it back better than you found it, whatnot. And I made it so, like, it's far enough from the gas station. My house is far enough from the gas station to where if you get halfway and something were to happen, it's going to suck. And I got halfway, and the mower ran out of gas in the middle of the road. In the middle of the road.
That's such a you thing to happen.
That's what I'm saying. It happens to me. Oh, this stuff happens to me all the time.
I think you should invest in a gas can.
I did.
Okay.
At
least you're learning lessons from all these stories.
Yeah. Well, obviously not. Stuff like this happens to me all the time.
I feel like it's a lot of new stuff that happens, though.
Yeah.
Running out of gas is definitely a common theme, though.
Yeah, it is, but, like, I don't know. I think I should have just thought about it before I left my house. That,
Probably.
hey, there's probably not gas in this thing anymore. But that Jeep story is so funny. I think I told my parents that, like, because we were all parking in the lot by the house. I think I told my parents that somebody hit it. Hit my
Lied
Jeep.
to your parents? How dare you?
Well, I didn't want them to be mad at me for speeding to make it to a deer drive.
That we killed 0 deer on.
We should have killed deer, though.
Yeah.
I had that doe run.
You had a deer. You had a buck run over you, didn't you? Or no, that was one of our other
No, that
buddies.
was the guy up above me had a spike run into him.
Do you remember when? Oh, it was
The
that
doe
day. No,
that ran in front of me
and
at
then
like 10 yards, and I completely whiffed, and then ran in front of you, and you also whiffed. And then Big Tim was like, next summer you boys are coming over, and I'm going to roll a tire down the hill with a target in it. You're going to learn how to shoot stuff moving.
My dad is great, fantastic shooting at running deer drives, rifles. You hand him a crossbow, same setup, still has a scope,
and he'll miss.
and he sucks. No clue why, but stay tuned. I guess we're going to see how good he is this year.
But we started running shotguns after that because of that conversation with
Yeah,
your dad,
I
and
wish-
that has paid off
Yeah.
big time.
I wish I was involved with some of that.
Dude, shooting deer with a shotgun is
I'm
so
not
much
even a
fun.
waterfowl hunter, but I still love shooting deer with a shotgun. Like, it's so much easier, like, for me.
Yeah.
I feel like just that 870, which was down for 2 years because that kid who joined the fraternity, I let him use it to shoot a gun the first time, and somehow he blew the entire action out of it. With 2 shots. Like, it needed all kinds of special parts after that. So, I finally got
That's
it back,
funny.
though, for this year.
I remember during that day, it was like one of our last drives of the day, and it was through like that really, really, really thick part where you're like,
Was that the buck drive?
That day,
It was the day. It was the day that my Jeep mirror went missing. So
did you lose your iPhone in the woods that day, too?
yeah,
That's what I think that's the story he was telling. I thought it was. Anyway.
No, we can. Moral of the story, back to random stuff happens to me all the time, and I can't control it. It just happens. We went on a deer drive,
That
and
was
I
the
had
buck drive.
I had a brand new iPhone, and it was through this area where it was kind of like you had to like crawl under bushes, and then like you could like walk backwards through this stuff. I lost my brand new iPhone in the middle of the woods.
In the middle. It was in exactly the middle of the drive.
And I didn't have anything turned. Like, I don't think, like, Life 360 existed then. Like, my parents have that, like, now. But, like, you had no idea where my phone was. And, like, that was one of them drives where it's, like, even if you wanted to try to go find it, you cannot backtrack where you go because you're not going to be able to make it the same way you made it through. But the story I was going to tell was that day, I think it was Tim was on the far side, I was in the middle, you were on the other side of me. And I remember we were walking through this thing, and Timmy walked through a thing of briars and, like, made it to the other side of it, and then just slingshotted him back and picked him up off the ground, and he started screaming. You said some bad words.
I've never heard more profanity in my life than going on a deer drive up there at the Scotia Game Lands with the briars that it has. It's actually a great bonding experience because you're all suffering.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something fun there.
No, it's
that type 2 fun. In the moment, it sucks.
Yeah.
But you get done with it, and you all survived it, and typically we have a handful of deer knocked down. And looking back, you're always like, dude, that's so much fun. Can't wait to do it next year. But in the moment, you're like, this is the stupidest shit we've ever done.
It's almost like what you were talking about with Formosi earlier, where it's like, what story do you want to tell?
Yeah.
I mean, we could walk through the open stuff, but there's never any deer in there. So instead, we crawl through the nastiest stuff we can find. Do you remember the time that we, like, walked 5 steps at the front end of Scotia, and then this deer just pops up out of nowhere? Like, we just started.
Yeah,
and
that's what you were just saying that we both missed.
Oh.
And it was like 5 yards away from us.
No, this one I shot.
Oh.
But I thought I missed it.
Oh.
And so I just kept,
okay.
kind of, like, in between these two areas, I had the shotgun, and I just kind of crawling through. And then I got up there. Like, I think I, like, kicked something. I'm like, I looked down, and there was a deer laying there. I'm like, wow. And then we finished that one. It might even have been the day you lost your phone. But when we circled back around, we were like, we should go get this thing. It was drug like 100 yards from where I shot it. So someone else picked it up. I don't know if they thought it was their deer or what. But that was a really weird time there.
Yeah, those times we went deer driving were fun. I feel like you haven't gone on much with us. Like, you went on that one duck hunt with us, but, like, we have some funny duck hunt stories. You might not know about this one. First day of duck last year. I'm out of shells.
That wasn't last year.
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
That was funny.
Oh. Yeah. Clay. So we have, 2 pair of wood ducks come in?
Well, we should tell the story from the start. It's me, you, and Zach.
Yeah.
We get there the night before.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We get there the night before because this spot, it's private land, but there's other people that have permission on it. So it's just like a visible spot, I guess, is a good way to say it. So we're like, hey, let's get out there the night before. That way we don't have to worry about someone beating us to it. And we were hunting out of the A-frame. So we're like, hey, let's brush the A-frame in the night before. We don't have to worry about it in the morning then. So, like, the plan's like, we're going to camp out here, basically. We'll get everything pretty much set up, aside from setting the decoy spread. And I think I brought, like, a 12-pack.
I blame you for this.
And I think you brought, like, a 30.
Also typical.
And there might have been a couple beers left by the time we went to bed. But not many, I guess, is the best way to say it. And
what time was bedtime?
Like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
We had fun that night, but like it was not really that bad.
It was one of those where they were just going down like water. You're not even thinking about it. Like, you don't notice it. Like, you're just working the whole time, but like also just BSing and
like
a beer.
It wasn't like we were like sitting out there partying before going duck hunting in the morning.
Yeah.
Like we were just hanging out having a few beers.
When we took the A-frame and everything out, we also brought a cooler completely full of beer with us.
I was the first one up that next morning.
Yeah.
And
I was mad at you.
People mad.
I was like, we don't have to be up this early. Like, the blind's brushed, and Clay's like, ting, 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 on my window, and I'm like,
I got up, and I woke up, got out of my truck, pulled my phone out, played Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue, put my waders on, and I went up to Zach's truck, woke Zach up. Zach was mad because his alarm was about ready to go off like 5 minutes later. Walked over to Isaac's truck. He was mad because I woke him up. And I was like, we're duck hunting. Like, this is supposed to be fun. But
yeah, and the first group of ducks that come in, like, right at first light, it's like a 2-pack of woodies. And I think we killed them, but we might have only killed one. Anyway, knock one down, and it's still, head up on the water, like, broken wing. And I'm like, hey, like, before more ducks come in, like, real quick, like, run out there and just shoot it in the head quick. Like, make sure it's not going anywhere, because there's a bunch of big grass and stuff. If they get up on the bank, it's not hard to lose one. So I'm like, just kill them dead on the water, and we'll keep hunting once it slows down, because it's normally pretty fast there first thing in the morning, and then it turns into like a trickle if you stay out there longer. And Clay like runs out, and I don't know, he blames it on the night before, but I think he's just, I don't know.
So here's the thing, I'll say this now, it was not the night before's fault. I was fine that next day, but there was something going on because my gun was off.
Sure. He basically, long story short, whiffs like three times at this wood duck on the water, and like he ran like halfway across the pond. So this is like a hand me shot. Like he was close enough to the point that I was yelling at him, like, you have to shoot it in the head, because if you shoot it at the body, we're not gonna have any meat on that thing. Like, shoot it in the head. Boom! Water shower, duck just swimming across the water. I'm like, and he just goes, I'm out of shells. And I'm like fuming at this point, because I'm like, there's going to be more ducks coming. So I have to get out of the blind and run over and shoot this duck. And somewhere in there, as I got out of the blind, I see 2 ducks coming. So I just like dive into the grass along
Where's
the bank.
Clay?
And they come in and land, and we're literally, Zach's like, I'm like, Zach, shoot it. Because that was his first year duck hunt, I think. And he's like, where's Clay? I'm like, you're good, because I could see you like on the other bank.
I was over on the bank. I'm just like,
yeah, huddled up. He does, just gives a little wave. And we ended up killing those 2. And then I run over and shoot this duck. But also I got so mad because I'm like, well, stay over there and make sure it doesn't get on the bank. Clay just like puts his head down and starts walking back to the blind. I'm like, at least keep it in the water so like it's easy for me to just like run over, boom, done, like keep it rolling. No, I had to like chase it back into the water, shoot it again.
It's crazy that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah. It was fun. That was a good day. We shot a crazy mixed bag.
Yeah, we had teal,
mallard, wood duck.
Do you remember
shot that coot?
You remember that one day we were out there hunting, and I think it was like mid-morning, and I was like kind of overstanding in the A-frame, and I went out there.
And you're standing in the decoy, shaking your butt, and a duck flies over?
Yeah,
I remember.
I walk out there, and like we always joked about like making motion on the water, and like I was just messing with the decoys, and I was like, hey guys, watch this. And I started shaking my butt, and I said, this is going to bring something in. So I was shaking my butt in the water, and it was like rippling, and I just look up, and there's a duck, so I just stop, and I freeze, and I'm like, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me. It was, you guys shot it. It was funny. But, yeah.
Had some good times.
There's a lot more mixed in there. It's just hard to think about. There's just so many. Like, we can talk about hunting all day.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or just being degenerates, but we probably shouldn't share that on here.
What's your favorite Clay, just being Clay memory? And then you think about this, too.
I got mine.
I feel like you should go first, because mine was bad, but
I'm kind of scared.
Mine's actually
like
not
stupid.
that bad. But
mine's like stupid, but it stands out for some reason.
Mine's stupid, but it is absolutely phenomenal representation of how Clay acts around me. Or all right. So this is very short. There's so many, but one day when we were living together, Clay, I think you might even have been in the room sitting, Isaac. I don't remember exactly how the story played, but it was this is quick. Clay was in the bathroom, right? So Clay's taking a shower. Clay's shaving.
Oh,
Clay,
God.
Clay shaving. He thinks about. That's just how he thinks. Every time I think of Clay doing something dumb, I just think of that story. Every single time. I'll never forget it. Like, I don't know why it stands out so much in my mind, but it does. Because, it was one of the most moronic statements I've ever heard in my life. But that's just Clay. It's just like...
I can't believe you shared that one. I forgot about that one, though.
I think about it way too often for the world not to know that story. I've shared that story at least 50 times since he's done it. At least.
I can't beat that one. Mine was going to be...
God.
This one's, so dumb, but it stands out in my mind. I don't know what we were doing. We're just, chilling in the living room the one day. And you just, launch yourself off the couch onto the floor, grabbing your foot, crying. And I'm like, what is happening? You're like, cramp for 5 minutes. And I'm like, stand on it. You got to put weight on it. You're like, cramp. Just rolling around on the floor. I have a video of it somewhere.
Oh, man, that sucked. That I forgot about. That was funny. So the issue is, at the time in my life, I didn't know any better. I didn't.
I know.
Clay's like, listen, I haven't.
That thought process is so common with Clay. I don't even know. The mower. Fill it up with gas and then go down, and
Timmy's just calling you dumb.
No.
It's not that I'm dumb.
He just thinks about things.
I'm really just special.
That's a, yep.
I know it, and I'm okay with it. I think it's funny because it brings stories like that up.
Yeah.
And it's that's fun. I don't know. Maybe not the way I want to be remembered, but so funny. So hysterical in the sense of I don't know. Dude, I don't do it as much anymore. I think it's just the fact that I'm still getting comfortable with everybody down there. But I remember when I was living up here and I was hanging out with you two all the time. You guys encouraged my autism. You guys thought it was the best thing ever.
Dude, you're comedic relief for any event.
Yep. Entertainment for the day, always.
So here's the issue, though. 90% of the time, when something comes out of my mouth, I don't mean it to be funny. But then you guys laugh at me, and then I'm like, oh. I just said something that did not need... I don't even know.
Yeah, I'd say, because we were going to school. I mean, maybe not you, but, there was a part of where we had to just do work, but whenever we would all just come sit in our room, guys would just come down. I'd say at least 80% of the time the conversation ended with us all three just sitting there laughing so hard to ourselves we couldn't even talk. So
yeah, honestly, it was probably one of the best things for me going through college because I needed that break from. I don't know. Looking at it now, college probably isn't as stressful as I made it.
Yeah.
But, I was stressed the heck out all the time.
Just disclaimer here, for everybody that's listening, we spent more time together than, apart at one point in our life. For, 4 years straight. 3-4 years straight. So, this is, there's gonna be stories that we're gonna talk about that might be a little out there, but it's we had a lot of fun together, and these are my brothers, you two are my non-blood brothers.
Yeah,
and it's that's what's awesome about it. It's everybody should have friendships and a friend group like we had.
Yeah,
because I mean, it's regardless. Everybody that lives has a crazy point in life. You're always gonna have a crazy point in life where you're you're doing crazy stuff just because you can, and it's we shared every memory together that, which was awesome. Like what he just said. I remember when we were living in the frat, I would wake up in the morning, and Isaac would be standing at my bed, and like just like, or like sitting on the couch doing schoolwork, and I was like, "What's up, buddy?" And he's like, "Oh, just doing schoolwork," and then like we'd proceed to talk for like 2 hours. Like, you two are the only two people that I've ever been able to be around so damn much and talk to for as long as we've been able to.
Yeah, I mean, it's ingrained in people. It's just the way it's always been. Like, you need a tribe, basically, and like we definitely had that with our little group up at school when we were all there. And like, I mean, that's the time where like you're like, you know, leaving the nest, whatever you want to call it, and you're going out and figuring stuff out on your own, but you like need that little tribe. And I think being around a solid group of dudes like we were, like, I don't know, it
what
got me through college, I'll say that.
Yeah. What's awesome about it though, it's like we hung out all the time, but it's like even in the dumb stuff we've done, like I feel like in our own ways, we've all pushed each other to be way better.
Oh, for sure.
Like, even whenever we were like, even now, like with, you know, we're all growing up. Like, we're growing up now. Like, I'm doing my thing with rodeo. Like, now
Timmy's got his own business.
You know, Timmy has his own business.
Being a bum.
You're not a bum. You're riding horses, training horses. Like, we've all found our niche, but at the same time, it's like, it's so cool to sit back and like, even though like that story is embarrassing, but it's so funny.
Yep.
Like, it's hysterical. Like,
it's
funny. It's what's awesome. Like, I don't know, man. I'll never forget when you got in your accident.
Oh yeah.
And you remember that.
Mm-hmm. I was on the phone with you.
Yeah, so that sucked for me. I was at a garage. It wasn't really a party. It was just a bunch of buddies hanging out in the garage. You got off work.
Yep.
You were coming over to hang out. And
trying to. Yeah.
Trying to. And you were on the phone with me, and it wasn't Timmy's fault that he got in a car accident, but there was a car. So the way it is in Pennsylvania is there's like, it's kind of hilly. Well, there was a car parked like right up over top of this dip. And Timmy came over this dip and rear-ended the crap out of him.
It's a 55-mile-an-hour zone, let's make that clear, and the car was parked in the middle of the road.
Yeah, on a blind turn.
Right, on a blind hill, yeah.
I have never been more scared in my life, though. And Timmy got in this car accident, and like the phone call went silent, and I was like, "Oh my god, like what is happening?" And then I will never forget when Timmy was in the ambulance. He called me back.
It was a pretty severe car crash, and I got
Timmy
knocked out.
was extremely concussed, which, thank the Lord that that's all it was. But he called me in the ambulance, and he was being all goofy and stuff, and they were asking him what year it is. He couldn't answer it. He was saying random numbers. And then they asked who the president was. And he said, "It better be Trump." And I will never forget the EMT in the ambulance laughed so hard, and I was like, "Timmy's good. Timmy's fine."
Yeah.
Not that that's like, we spent a lot of time together though, like
Yeah.
a lot of time together. I'll never forget my first interaction with Isaac. There was a spot in the middle of the woods we would go back and have bonfires at, and you were buddies with Isaac at the time. And we bought a keg for this bonfire we were having with a bunch of friends. And it was the first time I met Isaac. Well, I'll never forget when we got there, we realized that the tap to the keg didn't work. So
the seal was busted.
The seal was busted.
Yeah, 2 didn't work.
So he was trying to figure out how to do it. My first interaction with Isaac was, well, not my first. I guess it was
probably second.
Second. We were trying to figure out how to get this keg to tap. Well,
Joey was there.
We didn't have an O-ring.
We didn't have an O-ring, so it turns out after we couldn't get it to tap, we were like, well, Isaac has this cooler in the back of his truck. We're going to open this cooler, clean it out, and we have a hammer. We're going to bust this open and dump all the beer into this cooler. As a young person, it was such a good idea. thinking back on it now, it was not. It was gross. It was yucky.
It was such a bad idea.
I will never. We hit.
There was that or no beer.
Yeah, it worked. I'll say that.
But
I remember you and Joey, which he was on the podcast. That's why I say that. He grabs the hammer. You did whatever. One person's holding it, and I was standing down there making sure that there was room. We had everything in place.
My truck backed up to another truck. Tailgates down.
I think I was the one that busted it. Was I?
Joey.
It was Joey.
Yeah. So I'm looking up, and this thing lets loose. There is Busch Light about 30 foot up spraying into the pine trees, watering the trees. I'm like, this is probably not the best execution of our plan. But
to be fair, we had tried some other things, and they did not work.
They
It didn't work.
Yeah, we tried some different preventative measures, try and fix the tab.
Measures. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. Well, you can figure that out if you're able. But in the morning, I remember we all went over and checked the cooler. Hey, is there any beer left? Like, we might as well just see, like, if we want to do anything with it. We open it up. There is dirt, grass, like, layered the bottom of this cooler. And you got to think, there was probably at least 50, if not, like, somewhere between 50 and 100 people there, at least, for the duration of the fire. So to think about that many people's fingers going into the beer, it's just, wow. It's not a really good way to wake up like that, but we did it. We got it done, and we had a good time.
We had a lot of fun.
I remember I used to bring those tiki torches out there.
Yeah,
wow, that was such a bad idea.
That was so bad.
We had a flamethrower out there.
Oh, yeah.
was a
Huge
I forgot
flamethrower. Like a legitimate flamethrower.
That was one of the nights that we were up there, and like I was like,
Rooster trailer horses up there once.
Yeah.
I slept in their hay.
The girls
Next
got thrown
outlaw.
off. Yeah.
I will never forget though when that flamethrower was out there. It was one of the. It wasn't like one of like. There was a point in time when we got a little bit older, hanging out up there. We kind of just kept it to the group, like who we wanted there, which was really nice. And I'll never forget when that flamethrower broke out and we were in the middle of this fucking forest. I'm like, oh, this is about ready to be bad. Like this is gonna be not good. Turns out it just turned out for a really good night, and no one got hurt. But the flamethrower added so much to it.
Yeah. It did. Everyone wanted to use this flamethrower that was always going out. Just like all the girls wanted to ride the horses that Rooster brought. So, of course Rooster's taken, all of these girls on rides. And I remember, I think it was Adam's fiance now, Raven. She got thrown off into the mud, and she just comes back.
Oh, I remember that.
Soaked.
She was
head to toe in mud. Like, well, I have no idea. We're like, where's the horse? Apparently it went and followed. I don't know if he brought Dynamite too, or if it was
I know
he had Dynamite and Outlaw.
I was gonna say I know he had Outlaw because he had me ride him out in the morning.
That Dynamite horse was awesome, dude.
Yeah, he was. I'll never forget the time I took we were down at a buddy's camp in Jersey Shore. Rooster just came from a rodeo, and he only had Dynamite, and we're just down there hanging out. I'm like, Rooster, I kind of want to just go for a ride. Like, it was dark. Like, I was just being like stupid, but I was like, I want to go ride a horse right now. He's like, whatever, Tim. Like, I'll let you ride the horse. Like, let's do it. So we saddle up Dynamite. And Dynamite liked to be pretty bucky whenever he first got him out of a trailer or wherever. But we get him out. It's, I think, February in the mountains. So it's a good 4 or 5 inches of snow, and there's just ice underneath. It's just a horrible time to be riding a horse. But I saddled him up, and I went down the camp lane, and then I turned out. I was totally by myself with no lights, and I remember I just squeezed Dynamite, and he just took off running, and I don't know. We were just galloping for a good mile until someone else who was coming to the camp rolls in, and I slowed Dynamite down and stopped, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm having fun. And they're just like, what? And I'm like, this is so much fun to me. But, like, that is definitely the most fun I've ever had with Dynamite. Yeah, I really thought he was cool. I mean, he was like, some people were scared of him, but I think he was a great horse.
He was such a cool horse. I think he just had his weird triggers, as every horse does to everything. But he was awesome. But I remember that night, and you took off, and I was like, Timmy's gonna die. There's been so many of these experiences where it's like, Isaac's gonna die, Timmy's gonna die.
Yeah, there's so many of them. You had one just like, well, there was one night we were all hanging out, and Clay just went missing. We just didn't know where Clay was.
A common occurrence.
It was very common, but this was bad. Like, I didn't have Clay's location yet. Like,
90% of the time, I just had my dad pick me up and take me home.
But this time, Clay's dad showed up and opened my bedroom door.
10% of the time,
me,
you're on an adventure.
Yeah. Not
unsupervised.
Yeah, I remember Rylan was up, one of our buddies, and he was sleeping in my room, and just Clay was. We woke up and Clay was gone, and Clay, your phone storage is full.
That's common.
But so he was just MIA, and Rylan comes in the room. He must have been out going to the bathroom or something. Comes back to the room, and he goes, "Hey, the maintenance guy's here." I'm like, "What?" It's like 8:00 in the morning on a Sunday, and it's winter break. I'm like, "There's no maintenance guy, Rylan." He's like, there's some dude out here, and he wants to, I think, talk to you. I'm like, okay, so I got up, get dressed. It's Clay's dad. He's like, hey, like, have you seen Clay anywhere? Like, he got a hold of me last night, now he's just gone. I'm like, no, I haven't seen Clay. What ended up being the icing on his cake, Clay was fine. He came back to us. He just went on an adventure. But the kicker was, I think Clay's dad was so fearful when he showed up because Rylan, at the time, I guess he knew Clay was already, like, not where he should be. And when Clay's dad pulled in the driveway, Rylan was looking through the shed to see if he could find Clay. So I think that just absolutely made Clay's dad terrified for the whole day. But he's fine.
Oh, man.
But there's just so many of those stories that were like, yeah, he's going to die.
Made it through unscathed.
Yeah, so far.
No, we're good now.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well.
Thank God.
Yeah, I think we've all grown up a lot since then.
Oh, my God, for sure. Like, I'm so blessed and so happy to have all them memories, like, that we did, but it's like, I don't think I could do it ever again.
No.
Like, I don't think we could ever, I don't think our friend group could go back, try to remake that, and it to be good.
There was just like
we all came out on a really good side of it, which helped.
Yeah, there were so many stories. It was just us being young and dumb and learning, and now I feel like we're all learning. Like you were saying earlier, like
it's grown up.
It's crazy to meet people that are famous and see that they're people. And every time I meet someone famous, or I think of them as famous, they're that way. So
yeah.
It's cool though that we get to meet people like that. I feel like we're all doing it in our own ways, which is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And like, moral of the story is like, I don't know, don't do anything bad, but have fun. Like, I know
it's part of growing up.
Yeah, have a blast, because you got one of these things called life. And I don't know, I was always kind of one of them people that was kept in a shell for a long time, and then I met my group of buddies, which I came very quick to realize that, like, dude, like, there's nobody else that's gonna be able to replace your people. And it's like, once you find that group, it's like, no matter where you go in life, it's just like right now, it's like we're sitting here, we can sit here and talk for hours about the most crazy things and the most cool things, and it's like we're always gonna have that friendship, which is awesome.
Yeah. But I gotta ride a pony.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna film some cool stuff.
Then we're gonna go hang out, do some other stuff. So
heck yeah.
Unless you guys got any life advice.
Life advice for me is, I don't know. Enjoy your life when you're young. Like, not that we're old, but it's like, don't be afraid to go outside your shell and do some fun things, and be smart, but have fun, and then like, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm very happy to have these two guys as, brothers, and I'm just excited to see what the future holds. We're all growing up, all starting to do our own things, which is awesome, and what's going to be sweet about it is we're going to be able to be along with each other's adventures through it all, which is sweet.
Yeah.
All right, I got two things. I'd say one, if you want to do something, just go do it, because it's most likely going to turn out better than you anticipated, especially if you're young. We can all attest to that, I'd say. And then two is some days you win and some days you learn. But as long as you learn, you don't lose. So I'd say that's a good one, and that's one I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah, that's actually really good advice right there.
Yeah.
All gas, no brakes.
I definitely do that.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I feel like I'm piggybacking now, but it's the one that first came to mind. I just heard it on a clip from Chris Williamson, I think is his name. He has a podcast, and he had Jocko Willink on, if anyone knows Jocko. But they were just talking, and he asked Jocko, like, how do you deal with, like, those situations where, you know, everything's telling you, like, you know, like, it's a scary situation. Like, Jocko's a Navy SEAL, so, you know, one of those situations, whether it's jumping out of an airplane or, you know, running into a room that, you know, there's a bad guy in type deal. And Jocko's advice was, go.
Do it.
Go. He's like, something's going to happen no matter what. And if you don't go, you risk regret or whatever, or, you know, whatever you're after isn't going to get accomplished. So go. And I feel like that's something I'm always trying to listen to. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Piggybacking.
You did it. You went to Texas.
Yeah, and I don't know. It most definitely, like, not saying it's for everybody, but, like, you know, sometimes no matter what you got going on where you're from, it's like you never really, you know, I'm still learning every day. You know, I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect human being. Everybody knows that. Nobody is. But, you know, some I'm learning every day. It's like, you know, kind of like the risk to reward factor, you know, is, you know, you got to take risks because, you know, sometimes it won't work out, sometimes it will. But if you don't take risks, you might sometimes sit there wishing you did. And, like, that was the biggest thing whenever I, you know, yeah, I had an awesome opportunity to move to Texas, and I have an awesome job. You know, my mentality and outlook on life has changed a lot, and in the sense of, you know, just, you know, being very grateful and thankful for everything that I'm doing. But if I didn't take the risk, you know, and, you know, just the fact of, you know, missing everybody and then, like, not being around here, like, it helped me in a sense grow up a lot more than I kind of really realized. And, you know, for everybody out there listening, you know, you got to just do it. You know, every time I get on a bronc, I tell myself all gas, no brakes. You know, because if you hold back, you're not going to see through your full potential. But if you just go for it, you know, kind of what you both just said, you never know what the possibilities could be, good or bad. But it's better to know than not. So, thanks for having me again, Isaac. I'm sure we're going to do this again someday.
Yeah, dude.
I appreciate the hospitality. It was great.
It was great.
Glad you could sit in.
Glad I got to finally see the bungalow.
Timmy's currently has like a 300, 400 milligram caffeine drink running through his veins right now.
No, it was only 2. I got to go get another one.
I saw how you were when you walked in with that thing.
Very
itching.
But yeah, no, it's been good. I'm happy to be back up here with you guys, and we're gonna go have some fun.
Oh yeah, stoked to get to hang out with you for a little bit, and hopefully I can make a jaunt down to Texas here, you know, in a little bit.
Everybody should. Timmy, what is that?
Lock into something.
That's my work phone.
Holy brick.
Yeah.
All right. We're wrapping it up. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, do the things. Don't be afraid to reach out. Any questions, people wanting to get into stuff. I know this one might not have been the most educational. Some good advice at the end.
I will say, when it comes to, you know, getting involved with the Western industry, and if you just want somebody to talk to about, you know, getting into rodeo, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, and then, you know, if I don't know the answer, I'll
ask Dale.
Yeah,
because he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I'll at least get you
world champion this year.
Every year. I'll get you in contact with somebody that knows. So,
Yeah, if you have any questions about business, I guess fitness or anything of those sorts, you can reach out to me through Isaac. Yeah, and I'd be happy to answer those questions.
Yeah, we didn't get into it that much, but Timmy's kind of a gangster starting his own business, and he's also jacked. We
just got stuff. There's just stuff going on. 2 businesses are started up. I'm starting to finally make way in the powerlifting. I kind of shifted to there from rodeo. That's why I feel like I'm more on the back end of this podcast than the front end now, but I still love the Western world. I'm just a little big now to be riding bulls. Still love to do it, but I'm 220 pounds right now. It's not an ideal bull rider weight.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of making our way, like our own paths and our own ways, but we're all kind of jumping to it. So that's, I guess, the big message. If you have questions about lifting, hunting, fitness, that's my way. For Clay, that's more of like bronc riding, rodeo, even some ranch work, and then Isaac's training horses and working on moving too, and Clay's already moved, so we pretty much all have a way to help people out who are looking to make a jump. So I guess that's a big takeaway from our funny podcast.
Heck yeah. Wrap it up with that. Catch you on the next one.